Hello, welcome to our final day of our History Week at Boys Town. It's gone so quickly, but we've saved the best for last. Today we're actually going to tour one of our homes here on campus. We're going to visit the Blackburn family. And if you can see their beautiful home here, this home was designed and built by old Father Peter back in the 1980s. The girl program began in 1979. And they began the family home program itself back in 1975. And the girls for a long time lived in dormitories. And they decided they should have homes like the boys. So these were designed and created. And today we have about 30 of these homes here in the campus for our boys and girls. And you can see they're ready for the holiday, ready for Halloween. Father Flying loved Halloween. He was like, today he'd be loving to see this. We're going to go up right now, ring the doorbell, go in and meet the Blackburn family. I love their pirate ship. That's just amazing. And their octopus. Their home is set on a beautiful location that overlooks the Boys Town Lake, prayed by Father Flanagan. And each home takes pride in decorating their homes for the seasons too, for Christmas time and for fall. So this is all part of the children living here, learning what it's like to celebrate holidays. We'll come up here and ring our doorbell. And we'll meet the Blackburn family. They're going to give us a tour of their home. I'm so glad you're with us today. They have their welcome sign with their fall. Oh, it looks so beautiful. They have their dog with them, so we might have rambunctious little dog running around with this. We'll ring the bell again just to make sure.
Hi, I'm Abby. Welcome to the Blackburns family.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Hi, Facebook Live friends. Welcome to the Blackburns. I'm Rich Blackburn.
I'm Sarah Blackburn.
We'd love for you to come on a tour and talk a little bit about our home. And this is Nellie. Come here, Nelson. Well, Family Home Program is a wonderful place, and we love doing what we do. But we have anywhere from 8 to 9 girls in our home at a time. And in the living room, there's just a ton of stuff that goes on. You can imagine having 8 girls trying to figure out what show they want to watch. So it's always kind of fun. Addie lived this life. What do you think, Addie?
I've lived here for 2 years and I miss it a lot. Yeah. I wish I was still here sometimes, but you know.
So yeah, we just, every day we come in here, they come home from school, and a lot of times we'll check back from school and just kind of know what's kind of going on in their lives, see if they had any struggles or what they had going on, or maybe what they have going on after school, which, schedules and events, and we have girls that play basketball and volleyball, and there are people that are involved in clubs. There's just a ton of things going on, so we have to sit down and just make sure everybody is going where they need to be. But this is also where some of our girls earn the privileges to do their homework in here and just kind of relax and be a family. Addie, what was maybe some of your fondest memories of something going on in the living room?
I remember we used to watch the Marvel series, the like movies in timeline, and I think that was my favorite part. And then when we watched Ginny and Georgia, because we'd have family movies, but family TV shows, and I don't know, it just gave something for me to like look forward to sometimes when things weren't going good with myself, you know. So yeah.
We spend a lot of time in this room. It's the kind of the main hub of the house. One of my favorite things that we do in the living room is Christmas. So at Christmas time, we have a giant tree that goes all the way up into the top window. And on Christmas morning, we don't put any presents out until Christmas Eve night. So I'm sure the girls sometimes maybe sneak down and take a peek. But most of the time they see it for the first time Christmas morning, and we'll have presents out to like the middle of the living room. And for a lot of our girls, it's the first time they've experienced Christmas. We've heard that over and over and over again. We have a girl right now who was here for the first time last year, and she is very much looking forward to Christmas and getting everybody hyped up in the house because she remembers how amazing it was.
You know, one of the greatest things about Boys Town is we get to share traditions, and the girls get to know kind of and grow in those traditions. And it's neat to hear, you know, this girl said that, hey, this is my first Christmas that I've ever had, and this is something I'm going to have for my kids. And that's something we want to kind of continue on, and we want to establish those things, because those are the fun things of childhood that sometimes, you know, those aren't available to everybody, and that's what we want to give here. Yeah, we teach skills, and we we want to see success in those, but part of that success is seeing those kids just be kids, you know, and just love and laugh and play games and do puzzles, but also come out and to see their joy on their face when this whole room is full of Christmas presents and, you know, Christmas in the village has happened. I mean, Boys Town Christmas is an event. It's not just a day, it is an event. It's just over and over, so many weeks of things that build up to that. And then the culmination of kids just coming around and opening presents. And almost every home has some sort of game that they play about who gets to open the first present, or they have like saran wrapped gifts where everybody's trying to unroll it really fast. It's a lot of fun to watch that happen. So yeah, we will just kind of continue on. We have lots of things that go on in this room, but TV is a part of life anymore. But we don't watch a whole lot of TV. There's a lot of things that go on in here that it's not revolved around that. It's more relationship building than it is about watching TV. What is it on the Switch? What is it? It's
Just Dance.
Just Dance. Oh my gosh!
Oh,
Yeah.
I like that.
If you can imagine, you know, 4 or 5 girls in this room doing, and the volume is really loud, and they're all dancing, and some are better than others, but it's all just giggles and laughs and just kids being kids. So that's one of the things we want to do.
I see there's a hallway here with all these certificates and medals. What is that area over there?
You want to talk to that?
Yeah.
You're up over there.
Yeah, I'm into it too. Yeah, I think my medal still is.
Yep.
But this is where I would keep my point cards and my school cards, and then it's more of like, we call it like the organizational hallway kind of. Like, we have a reminder about like the rules of the house and our schedules, and when we get on Three Bridge, you can like you set goals to move up in the system, and it's just a really good like reminder hallway kind of, and not just those things, but like also our achievements. Like here's one of mine, because I ran the Memorial Day run here. It's 5 miles, and I got a medal for it, so they hung it up. And then for when I ran track, they hung that up too, and that was really cool. And then we got pictures of prom, and I don't know what these things are. I haven't seen these yet.
So-
GPAs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's GPA awards.
Yeah. It's just, I don't know, it's a good place because it makes you feel like seen, and you know, so.
What's a point card?
Point card?
Okay, you can just grab
I
one.
want to grab something.
There you go.
Yeah, well, basically this, and it's so you know how we are taught skills throughout the day. Well, they come to us, they talk to us, and they see something we do good, and they see things that like we might mess up on, and we write them down here, and it's points, and it's to keep us like reminded of like what we've been doing all day, and to see like where we can improve on and what we've improved on. So yeah, and then you get if you do good enough for a while, you can move up and you no longer have a card, and that's what I was on for like a year and a half. So it was good. It made things a lot easier, but you know, you have to work up, you have to earn that. So yeah.
So everybody talks about like what do we do, and what Addie just described, the point card is just part of the model and the system that we have. And what's great about that is that everybody teaches the same model all the way across the board. So it's almost like a 1960s community where everybody knows everybody else, and everybody's kids know everybody knows everybody. Yeah. So if Addie would go down the street, she may be taught to in a positive way by one of the other family teachers. And it's the same skills, it's the same things. We have this book that has all these social skills in it that we talk about, and we teach to every one of the kids so that they can be successful. And it's the things that we would normally teach. So it's following instructions, it's greeting skills. One time we had a girl get a job just because she was able to go in, look at the person, shake their hands, and introduce herself well. And they hired her on the spot. They didn't even interview her because she just knew how to look at someone and smile and have a conversation with them appropriately. So it's just those things that we talk about. But basically the model boils down to this. You see a behavior that you really like, they get positive points for it. They're arbitrary points. They're not anything special. It's just points on a card. But if it's a skill that we might not be for their success, it might not be a positive skill, then we say, hey, right now, that's not a skill that is going to help you in life, and here's negative points for that, but let's practice what it looks like to do it well. And we replace that behavior with something. So if Addie would come in and not greet someone, we'd say, hey, Addie, in the future, you're going to need to greet a lot of people in your jobs and at college to be successful. You didn't do that very well, but here's how to do it well. And we practice it. She gets some of those points back, and we just move on with our day. And it's just basically take a skill, take a behavior that you like, reward it. If it's not something that you like, you replace it with something that you do want to see, and you just move on. And that's every day, all day, whether they're at school or whether they're at home or whether they're on their sports team. They might be in art club, and the same skills. So from family teachers all the way up through our top people at Boys Town, they all know that model, and they all get to teach to that. So it's really a fun place to learn, but also is a consistent place to learn. So they're not getting mixed messages, and they get the same requirement, the same expectation as across the board.
And that's your full-time job, is to teach.
That is my full-time job. We do that all the time. Basically, we've been kind of described as professional parents. So that's what we do. We have up to 9 girls in our home, usually 8. And we have our own kids. Sarah and I have our high school daughter. She's a senior this year. And then we have a 9-year-old boy. So my son and I are outnumbered in our house, 11, maybe 13 to 2 sometimes, guys to girls. But it is not only a solid and wonderful place for people like Addie to come and kids like Addie to come and grow, but it's a great place for our own natural kids because they get to learn and see the benefits of those same skills. If you walk up to my 9-year-old son and ask him, hey, how do you follow instructions? He will give you every step just like one of the kids at Boys Town. We don't separate our family out. Our kids are just part of the family, and our Boys Town kids are part of the family. That's how we run it. We also, just down the hall, so there's maybe an example of a room. All of our girls get a chance to have their own space. So every room is very big, but it's also set up kind of like a dorm room. Those dorm rooms, we just want our kids to be ready to be successful about that and to kind of know what it means to live with someone else and to cooperate with someone else. But they have their own spot. They have their own vanities and bathrooms. But the rooms are huge. They're bigger than any room I grew up in, and it allows for them to take care of things, but it's personalized.
What's the next room we're going to see now?
I think it's important to talk about our education and how much its importance is to education. Sarah does a lot of the help with homework, and we talked to like the new school. She's on the education committee, so you have all sorts of new roles.
The new school was very exciting. It was an update that was much needed at Boys Town. The youth were very nervous at first. They had been split, freshmen and sophomores in one building, juniors and seniors in another building for a couple of years. So the thought of everybody being back together in one building was a little overwhelming for them. And then 3 floors and new huge space and getting to find all the classes. But once we got them in there, the kids were so excited to see the new technology, just all of the perks that come along with having a new school. And there's more space per student in the new building, and so the kids have room to kind of spread out, which cuts down on conflict and some of those negative behaviors in the classroom, so they're able to get more education time. And then when they get home from school, we, like Rich had said, we go over their school day. What did they struggle with? What did they do well? We identify those things. We teach to it. And then they do homework time every day. And so when they first get here, it's a structured homework time. And then like Addie had said, once they work up to being off the point card, it's up to them on when they're going to do their homework. And so the expectation is they just get it done. And so if they're struggling with that, we'll go back to a structured homework time for a while. But we want them to be able to normalize that to the outside world. So when they do get to college, they know how to budget their time and be able to get their homework done and get projects done and all of those great things. We've got 2 computers in our house that are shared with the 8 girls, so that can get tricky sometimes. And they are used to access the school website where they can access textbooks or homework that needs to be submitted online, things like that, and then to be able to do research for projects. But most of the homework is done around our huge dining room table, where at meals we fit 12 to 14 people around this table sometimes.
That's a huge dining room table.
It is.
And cooking for all of them. Is this your kitchen area over here?
Yes.
Where all the cooking takes place, the hub of the house?
Yes.
And who does the cooking here?
It's not a secret. Sarah can't cook.
I'm not a very good cook.
I'm not saying anything that everybody doesn't know.
She
But
bakes though, right?
I bake, yes. I do a lot of baking, and I can do some pretty good casseroles because it's really just baking. But he does the majority of the cooking and gets the girls involved. And
the girls do help with the cooking.
absolutely.
So Addie, I mean, she spent a couple of years with us. So what's some of your favorite meals?
Cheesy chicken and rice.
Cheesy chicken and
Yeah,
rice,
that was
okay.
mine. Yeah.
All right, yeah.
that's one of my meals.
That's actually
Yeah.
one of Sarah's.
And this is your pantry?
Yeah, this
Oh
is
my
our
gosh,
pantry.
that's amazing.
So we, every day, for one, we want to make sure that, just to be honest, I grew up, you wouldn't know it now, but I grew up very food insecure. So our family was very poor, and food was a distraction for me. I would sometimes be looking for school just so I could go get the free breakfast or the free lunch and know that that was my one meal or two meals that I was going to get that day. So one of the things that we're kind of known as the food house, everybody loves to eat here, and that's a good thing for us because we don't want food to be a distraction. We want kids to come and be able to work on some things that maybe they don't do well. Maybe that they've never experienced in their lives. Maybe they need to work on their education, and food was a distraction. So we want them to leave the school with a full belly. We want them, and when they go to school, they have a great cafeteria at the great hall, and they get a good meal there. And then they come back home, and they don't have to worry about if we're going to have a good meal. We want to make sure that that's set around the table, and we eat family style every night, if you can imagine. That's not real common anymore in the U.S. Everybody's moving so many different places. We sit around the table and we share a meal. And one of my favorite parts about the day is when everybody sits down and eats and it's quiet because everybody's just shoveling it in, you know, and it's nutritious, it's well thought through. But it's warm, it's loving, it's just what a family, you know, that core family thing that sometimes we miss. There's no cell phones out, there aren't any big distractions, it's people sitting around and eating. But also after they come home, they can get what we call a healthy snack. That could be anywhere from chips and salsa to a granola bar to a piece of fruit. We always have fruit available. And then at night, if they have their cribs and they've done everything, we get sweet snacks. At Boys Town, sweet snacks are like a currency. I mean, you know, it's a candy bar or a soda, what are Gatorades and ice creams and stuff like that, but they earn that during the day. Everybody will be like, hey, Rich, is it sweet snack time? Is it sweet snack time? And that's one of the fun things. They come into the office, they get sweet snacks, and it's a fun thing, but it's also motivating, right? You want that candy bar, so maybe when I'm thinking about not making a decision, in the back of my mind, ooh, that ice cream bar, and it's a motivation. And we want them, but also growing up, what do you like? You know, you want your ice cream, you want your candy bar, you want a soda, you want something like that. But yeah, we keep our pantry well stocked, and Boys Town just does a great job of making sure that the kids have everything that they need when it comes to food, when it comes to clothing. It's just it's part of what we do. When the kids are at school, family teachers don't just take off. We have, you know, you have 8 kids to run medical appointments and therapies here, and we have all those things available. But also you have to feed 13, 14 people every day. That's a lot of groceries. So we try to do that during the day and take the kids along when we can. Sam's runs are always kind of fun around here because no one cares about getting what they're going to get food-wise. They just care that there's a snack bar there, you know. So I always let them go get a pretzel or get a drink or something. It's really like the cheapest place to feed anybody with good stuff.
I will say this is one of the cleanest kitchens I've ever seen. How is it kept clean? Do you have a system how you keep this clean?
Yeah, we do have a system. Everybody in the house is assigned a certain chore, and this is where we keep record of that. To organize like who's doing what. There's K1, there's K2, K3, which stands for like kitchen something, and K1 is like dishes. I don't know if you guys have changed it.
Nope.
K2 is sweeping. Nope.
Counters.
Yeah,
Counters
you
and
know,
appliances.
You get the idea. It's just everybody has their own, like, it's a big house, and you need and there's multiple people living, so everybody needs like a role to play to clean it up. And
How's that checked?
oh, and then we have so how, you know, you're cleaning stuff up, and like, how do you know that you did your job, you know? So we have a manager in the house, and then have a co-manager still?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then we have a co-manager, but mainly the manager is something that everybody votes once a week. People vote for who they want to be manager in the house for that week, and they're the ones who basically checks what, you know, how well you did. And then
Yeah, and then the manager gives feedback, whether it's positive feedback, they did a great job with the chore, or if there's some constructive feedback, they need to do something better, and then points are based off how much feedback they get throughout their chores. And so the girls get to practice giving appropriate feedback, which is a great life skill to have, and accepting feedback as well, which can be a really hard thing to do even as an adult. And so those are some examples of skills that we practice just within the normal daily routine of life.
The life skills of the children who
Yes.
live here. Very important. You have a beautiful set of windows here,
yes.
and it looks out to our Boys Town Lake created by Father Flanagan back in the 1940s. Can you describe your view being here? Do you see wild animals come by? Any turkeys or anything?
Oh yes, I used to chase them.
Geese, turkeys, squirrels, a deer came through the other, like a few months ago, and that was something new we hadn't seen before. And we had a fox living, there's a little fox den in our backyard, so we had a fox living out there for a while, which was really neat. He'd run through the backyard every now and then. They had some kits, so lots of exposure to nature here on the Boys Town campus, and we get to fish in the lake, and
Addie ran
took-
around.
oh, Addie took many runs around the lake.
Cross country and with track.
Yeah.
How many times do you think you ran around that lake?
Over 100.
Yeah. She was very familiar, so it's, you know, she was able to earn that privilege to be able to go out and to run, and when you run the lake path, it's just it's motivating because it's pretty, and you get away from, you know, living in a house with 8 girls plus adults and all that every day is tough, and to be able to have that and go run is cool. You know, it's just a neat thing to watch. And to sit here and watch the cross country team run by, and you're like, I can't do that. I am well past that stage of my life to go run with the cross country team, and you'll see the football players during Cowboy Week. They'll be running around the lake with their flag, and they're all running together, and it's just a neat experience to live in a design community that was thought of 100 years ago. To see it come to this far and see us keep moving towards what Father Flanagan set apart for this land to do, it's just amazing. From Father Flanagan's house to this house, 100 years between, but still the same vision and still the same mission is. That's neat for me. I'm a leadership guy. I love leadership, and to see someone's vision just come to fruition, and the love that he started with still being pushed out in this is one of like 50 some odd homes. And every day, the same thing that goes on in our home goes on in 50 other homes. And to think of every kid that's in every one of those homes, it's actually pretty amazing to think about. I mean, and in many ways a miracle in and of itself, to see that go on and continue to flourish is a neat thing.
It really is. And Boys Town is a very special place. And I think we're going to wrap up our visit today, because I know this family teaching couple and young lady had a very busy day today. And I want to thank you very much for joining us this week during our History Week. It was a great week. You learned a lot of history about Boys Town, got to visit locations you usually don't see. I'd like to thank Gabby and Susie, our camera lady here, who took filmed everything for us. And if you always want to learn more about Boys Town, please come and visit the village. And always go online to boystown.org to learn how you can support Boys Town and carry on Father Flanagan's ministry, as you see today, is alive and strong here in the village of Boys Town. Thank you very much for joining us this week, and hope to see you soon.
Bye.
Bye.